Have you ever noticed something strange? Why is it that the nicest person in the room is often the one who gets hurt the most? Why do kind people end up overworked, underappreciated, and emotionally drained? Why do they give and give and give until there's nothing left? And here's the uncomfortable question. If kindness is such a beautiful trait, why does it sometimes feel like a liability? Why do people take advantage of those who care the most? Today, we are diving deep into a truth that most people feel but rarely understand. This is not about becoming cold. This is not about stopping kindness. This is about understanding the psychology behind why kind people get used and how to stop the cycle without losing who you are. Because if you are the person who always shows up, always forgives, always helps, you need to hear this. The hidden side of kindness. Kindness is one of the most admired human traits. Psychologist Martin Seligman, the father of positive psychology, found that acts of kindness significantly increase life satisfaction and emotional well-being. Helping others releases oxytocin and dopamine, which are the same chemicals associated with bonding and reward. Being kind literally feels good. But here's the paradox. Research from the University of California suggests that highly agreeable people, those who prioritize harmony and avoid conflict, are statistically more likely to be underpaid, overworked, and overlooked in professional environments. Agreeableness is one of the big 5 personality traits. People high in agreeableness are compassionate, cooperative, and trusting. But that same trust can become vulnerability, and that vulnerability can attract the wrong people. The target effect. Why kind people attract takers. Adam Grant, organizational psychologist and author of Give and Take, divides people into 3 categories: givers, takers, matchers. Givers help without expecting immediate return. Matchers help with balance. Takers look for advantage. Here's the problem. Takers are extremely good at identifying givers. Research shows that highly empathetic individuals display more open body language, warmer facial expressions, and more validating speech patterns. These signals unconsciously communicate, "I am safe, I will understand, I will forgive." To a healthy person, that is comforting. To a manipulative person, that is opportunity. This is not because kind people are weak. It is because they assume others operate with the same moral code they do. Psychologists call this the false consensus effect, the tendency to believe that others think and behave like we do. Kind people assume fairness because they are fair. They assume loyalty because they are loyal. They assume empathy because they are empathetic. But not everyone plays by those rules. The fear of disappointing others. Many deeply kind people are not just compassionate. They are conflict avoidant. Dr. Harriet Breaker, author of The Disease to Please, explains that chronic people pleasers often fear rejection more than exhaustion. Their nervous system interprets disapproval as danger. When someone is upset with them, it does not feel like a minor disagreement. It feels like loss. It feels like abandonment. So they say yes when they want to say no. They tolerate disrespect to avoid tension. They overextend themselves to maintain harmony. And over time, this becomes a pattern. The more you tolerate, the more people expect. The more you give, the more it becomes your role. Until one day, you are not appreciated for your kindness. You are expected to sacrifice. Childhood conditioning and attachment style. Psychologist John Bowlby's attachment theory helps explain another layer. Many adults who overgive developed anxious attachment in childhood. They learned early that love required performance. Maybe they were praised only when they were helpful. Maybe they were ignored when they expressed needs. Maybe they had to emotionally care for a parent. So their brain formed a rule. If I am useful, I am loved. As adults, they unconsciously replay that pattern. They overfunction in relationships. They fix other people's problems. They apologize for things that are not their fault. And when someone mistreats them, they try harder instead of pulling away. This is not weakness. It is wiring. Why kind people struggle to set boundaries. Clinical psychologist Dr. Henry Cloud, author of Boundaries, explains something powerful. Kindness without boundaries is not kindness. It is self-neglect. Many kind people believe that setting boundaries makes them selfish. But neuroscience tells a different story. When you say yes against your own needs, your brain activates the stress response. Cortisol increases. Resentment builds quietly. You might smile on the outside, but internally, your nervous system is screaming. Over time, suppressed resentment turns into burnout, and burnout often turns into withdrawal or emotional shutdown. Ironically, the person who tried to avoid conflict ends up exploding or disappearing. The social reward of self-sacrifice. Society often praises self-sacrifice. We celebrate the person who works overtime without complaint. We admire the friend who is always there. We call mothers superheroes for never resting. But research from social psychologist Dr. Brené Brown shows that overfunctioning is often armor. It is a way to feel worthy. When your identity becomes the strong one or the helper, it becomes terrifying to stop. Because who are you if you are not needed? This identity trap keeps kind people stuck. They fear that boundaries will cost them connection. But what they do not realize is this: real connection requires authenticity, and authenticity requires limits. The emotional cost of being used. Being used does not just hurt your schedule, it hurts your self-worth. Repeated exploitation can create learned helplessness, a concept developed by psychologist Martin Seligman. When people feel they cannot change outcomes, they stop trying. Kind people who are repeatedly taken advantage of may begin to believe, this is just how relationships are. I am asking for too much. Maybe I am too sensitive. Over time, they shrink. They speak less. They need less. They expect less. And that quiet shrinking is the real tragedy. The shift. Kindness with strength. The solution is not to stop being kind. Research from Adam Grant shows that successful givers are not the ones who give endlessly. They are the ones who give strategically. They protect their time. They filter who they help. They say no when necessary. Healthy kindness has structure. It has boundary. It has self-respect. Psychologist Dr. Kristen Neff's research on self-compassion reveals that people who treat themselves with the same kindness they offer others are less likely to experience burnout and more likely to maintain healthy relationships. Kindness must include yourself, or it will destroy you. Practical psychological shift. Here is what emotionally strong kindness looks like. Instead of saying, it's okay, when it is not okay, you say, I am not comfortable with that. Instead of over-explaining your no, you say, I cannot commit to that right now. Instead of fixing someone's life, you let them solve their own problem. Boundaries do not push good people away. They filter out the wrong one. And here's the truth most people never tell you. The people who benefit from your lack of boundaries will be the ones most upset when you create them. That is not a sign you are wrong. That is proof you needed them. The real power of kindness. Let me ask you something. What if your kindness was never meant to make you small? What if it was meant to be powerful? Kindness is not weakness, but unprotected kindness is. The world does not need you to become colder. It needs you to become clearer. You can be compassionate and firm. You can be loving and strong. You can be generous and selective. The goal is not to give less. The goal is to give wisely. And the moment you stop abandoning yourself to keep others comfortable is the moment your kindness becomes strength. If this resonated with you, you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not broken. You just need boundaries. And that changes everything.